it's Leela, the proud poly kinky queer slut. Today's question is, how do you throw an orgy? I love throwing parties, like whether they're board game parties or whether they're sexy parties. I find it really fun, and I have thrown several of them. Funny enough, I've mostly been to the parties, in terms of house parties, that I've thrown myself. um, it's um, it's like hosting anything else. You just decide to do it, and you have to actually put in the work to do it. But of course, there are some specific considerations. Um, so first, it's logistics, right? So you put together an invitation. I like to just do it in a message in whatever communication format your friends are in, and specify what it is. It's really important that it be clear in the title that it is a sex party. um, it's just like anything else. Like people want to know what they're walking into before they walk into it. Also, you need to think about guest list. And who you're inviting and whether they get along. And for me, that kind of happened organically. Like as I started hanging out in sex positive community, I started meeting other people in that community. I had connections with some people. Those people had connections with other people. We were all in an open sex positive space as our hangout area at the club, and so there was just this general understanding about not being offended by sexual behaviors, and also a basic consent culture already established. And so that really helped. But if that's not the case for you, then make sure that you take the effort to actually just spell it out. If in doubt, put it in the invite, write it out. Make sure everybody knows what they're walking into. I highly recommend that you invite people that are established partners of yours that you want to have that kind of play with, and people that they know, so that people are not walking into this with nobody they know in the room. Familiar connections really help. And then don't think too big. It's good to start with 2 people, 3 people. Start with the people who you know best and your best connections. And then you can always throw future parties. It's less intimidating when you start small, and also you can get feedback that way. I mean, you're gonna make mistakes. All of us make mistakes, so it's very good to take it step by step, slowly, and then beyond that, think about consent. Think about spelling out the what's going on, any rules you have for the party. Like some people require that folks get tested for STIs right before the party. If that's something that you're implementing, then spell that out in the invitation. Make sure everything's just really clear up front, so that when people decide if they're coming or not, that they know what to expect. And then it's really like throwing any other party or get together. You need to think about location, time, who's bringing what, what your supply lists are, what are the snacks, what's the music, what's the venue, and just spelling that out. Also, it really helps if you can have help. So if you've got folks who are willing to help you out, then divvy out the resources. One thing that I have received feedback on for my parties is that it's helpful to have an orchestrated negotiation time. So a time that's specifically set aside to talk about sex. Because everybody shows up, and there's this like period where you're just socializing, and then it can sometimes be a really abrupt transition when it gets sexy, and then everybody just jumps on that bandwagon, and that can be intimidating for people who don't necessarily have as many connections as you might, as the person who's throwing the party in the group. So one thing that can address that concern is just being mindful of it, and as the host of the party, just saying, hey, by the way, now it's time for us to have some dedicated negotiation talk time. And that goes over really well. People are generally not resistant to that, and it also doesn't have to be terribly complicated. Just vocalizing that you're taking that opportunity allows people to feel comfortable stepping in and doing that. So beyond that, just relax and have fun, and remember that you can always start small and expand later. And you know what? It's never perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's gonna be really fun, even if it's only you and one other person who shows up. So relax, enjoy yourself, and just do it. Thanks very much. I am Leela, the proud poly kinky queer slut, and remember, you can ask me anything. Have a great day.